Hey fam, how we doing? Okay, today's episode, we've got Robert, the real deal, Trujillo. First time this guy's on the show. We've scheduled actually a few times, but life happens, and one of those times was during a fight week, so things get a little crazy, but we finally pulled it off. I loved everything he had to say. He talks about his fighting career, both in MMA and power slap. Talks about how it really is a labor of love, this sport. It's not it really can't be about the pay, fam, until you get that upper echelon of the rankings. So we talk a little bit about that. But overall, we talk about his viral dance. I mean, come on now. How can you not like that? Knocks a guy out, then starts doing the boat dance. Yeah, yeah. All right, everybody. It was a good chat. So happy you came on. Glad to do it and hope to do it again soon. So everybody, grab a beverage, enjoy yourself, and always 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1, yeah, that's a knockout. They call me kamikaze, put you in heaven's lobby. On gas, no brakes, you can never stop me. Nah, no, you can never stop me. Yeah, cause I'm the power slap king.
Slap some, baby!
Yo, the champ. Robert, you ready, guy?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How you doing, man?
Good, good. All right, let's do it. All right, everybody. Welcome to Slap Zone. We got the champ in the building. He's here. He's alive. He made some time for us. Everybody, give it up for the strongest chin in his division. Robert, the real deal, Trujillo.
So,
Dude, what's going on, man? We did it. We pulled it off.
yeah, got it done. Got it done, dude.
I love it, dude. Haircuts and lunch be damned. We're having a conversation today, my man.
Finally, bro. Finally.
Finally. Well, dude, so happy you're here. It's the first time we've had you on. Obviously, I want to talk right into the match you just had. It was a rematch with Dakota. Did it go the way you planned, or did you think you'd get him done in one?
He's tough, man. He's tough. I definitely knew I had the power to put him out, but I didn't think I was gonna get it done in one. I felt like my first hit was definitely gonna gauge a few things, and I predicted I'd get it done in three. So I'm happy to had got it done when I said.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Was the celebration planned or just like improv?
Dude, honestly, I was just like backstage and I'm like sitting there, I was so focused on the match and what I was gonna do, to come out and beat him and just be locked in. And I said, what the hell am I gonna do after I win? I gotta have something cool, if and I literally looked at my phone real quick for trending dances and I saw that as like the number one that was trending at the time. And and the
Yeah.
shitty thing is I only watched like the first like 20 seconds of the video, so I didn't see the full dance, but I got that part done of it, so it was cool and like it's been a lot of people have been like commenting on the dance, so like I tell everyone I was like even though this is a sport to me it's more of it's an entertainment thing to do, you know what I mean? So you got to go put on a show, you know what I mean? Like you can't be serious and boring and this and that. And I like to be serious, in my matches, but once I win, I like to let out a little bit of personality and stuff. It was cool.
Yeah, man, no, that's real. It's that's become quite the topic lately. Is the sport is people are realizing that the sport is what it is, but it's the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And like we were saying, like they were saying with some of the wrestlers that they brought in, they're used to putting on a show, and if some of them could translate into having like really good careers here, plus putting on that show, they're gonna have good careers at Power Slap.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. And I think it's brought it's good energy for the crowd too, man. Like people do wonder, if so and so wins, if Robert defends this belt, what's he gonna do? Like I think that's kind of in people's minds as well. So when guys pull out, the the boat dance or like, a body roll or like ripping out their shirt or something like that. I mean, it definitely plays up to what just occurred in the event, man. So yeah, I just thought that was awesome, dude. It was so seamless from KO to just going to, to dancing. So I loved it, man. I loved it. Dude, I know you started at MMA 5-0, I think, right?
I'm 6-1 right now. 6-1 right now.
6-1. Okay. So
Yeah.
MMA, big part of your life. now you're like you're literally a champ. Do you still want to pursue MMA? Do you want to do both? Or are you like so focused on slap and you have a lot to prove it in that?
No, I definitely want, I'm definitely getting back to MMA. Like I still train MMA, preparing for my slaps. I just don't spar as much, so I protect my head a little bit more. But I definitely still want to pursue MMA. It's been, like I've said, it's just a little tough because, like these smaller shows, even like shows that are like feeders into the UFC, they don't pay that much money, and it's kind of hard,
Yeah.
to really like dial in and how strict I am on myself when I am in MMA camp. It's a lot. It's a lot mentally, physically, emotionally. It's a lot financially, and I pretty much, would be making just enough to cover my fight camp, in a fight, so I'd essentially be fighting for free, and that's just like the only hard thing, so I feel like now they're like coinciding a little bit. I can use my money from Power Slap to put myself in a good training camp and still be a little comfortable, and then still, chase these fights. So I definitely want to jump back into the MMA world, just has to make sense, like they gotta give me a little chunk, I'm not asking for as much as Power Slap's pay me, but they gotta pay me at least, worth my while.
No, dude, I think honestly, the more I've gotten to know, all the strikers on the roster and being able to talk to people, in long form, you kind of know as a fan, but it doesn't really set in. At least for me, it didn't really set in till I really started to talk to people, and that is people don't understand. As rough as MMA is, as hardcore as that sport is, it's a labor of love, man. Like everyone that's trying to make it in that world, like they're doing it for the love 100% because there's not a lot of coin until you reach, the upper echelons of the sport. There's a lot of work in there. Yeah.
Yeah, and even like entry level UFC fighters now, they're still, by the time they pay their manager, their gym, their supplements, they're still, having to work. Most of these guys are still having to work full-time jobs, and train on the side and then go fight, because it's like you said, there's not that much money until you hit like the very top of the rankings and stuff like that. So it's definitely love we got for the sport. It's like one of those things where you're like, all right, well maybe I'm done with this, and you stop for a couple weeks or a month, and you're like, shit, I'm missing that in my life. I need that back. It's just something that we love and it's part of us.
Yeah, it really is, dude. It's crazy how I mean, for the most part, slap is like this too, but for the most part, it's crazy how the closer you get to the quote unquote killers in the fight game, a lot of them the kinder they actually are. And I think that comes from just their behind the scenes dedication, dude, and always putting in the work and go, go, go. They realize that this is the thing that matters and there's not a lot of other distractions in their life, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, that and definitely like I've noticed, with like a lot of like fighters who have been around the block and they know, we're a lot more humble because we know what can happen in this sport. You know what I mean? Like a punch could change the whole game. A slap could change the whole game. And unlike basketball or football or baseball like that, like if you lose a game, your whole team lost. You didn't lose. But you're in there in the cage, you're up there on the slap stage. You lose a match, it's just you up there. No one else has seen someone lose the match besides yourself. So it's the ultimate. I feel like fighting and slap and everything like that is the ultimate like vulnerability sport because you have to go out there and know, there's a chance I'm gonna get knocked out. There's a chance, I'm gonna get submitted, and there's a chance I'm gonna lose maybe by decision. And if I lose, it's just gonna be me losing, and everyone sees that. And and football and that stuff, there might be something where they're like, oh, well, this guy messed up, but it's a team effort altogether. So it definitely helps you be a lot like for me anyway. I'm super humble in it because like I know anything can happen. So I don't really like being one of those guys who's cocky because
Yeah.
anything can happen. But I do have a lot of confidence in myself. And there's a big difference between the two.
No, I totally agree. Do you think, I mean, you've had such good success so far in both sports. Is that part of what drives you? Like when you get to the core of you, is that part of what drives you is to, you don't want to experience, you know, tasting a loss or tasting like a hard fought thing and then a judge gives it to the other guy. Is that part of the motivation to knowing that that's part of the game of losing and winning?
I think that's honestly one of my biggest motivations, man. I have tasted a loss and you know the taste of that loss and how long you carry it, it's much more than the feeling of when you win. It's great when you win, you feel good, but it dies down pretty fast, you know. You lose and you're like you have to think of it every day. I'm like, fuck, I lost that match. I lost this, you know. What can I do to be better? It just drives me to like not ever want to feel that feeling again. Because when I win, you kind of just sit on it, you enjoy it, and you're like, all right, that was cool. Like, you know, like what's gonna happen next? Then you get signed for another match, and then those feelings come back. You're like, oh shit, all right, well that win felt good, but what if I lose? You know, so it's for me, it's like one of the biggest driving factors is like I could go up there and lose, but and that's the last thing I want. So I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure that don't happen. You know, so it's definitely one of my most driving factors.
Dude, that's interesting, man. So the loss weighs way heavier than a win.
Way more to me anyway. Like I don't know what other people think, but to me, you know, suffering a loss is 10 times more of a feeling than enjoying a win, you know? Whether even like even if it's just like even if I wasn't even going for if I was going up in a regular match not even for the title and I lost, that feeling would probably still weigh more on me than the feeling of winning the title, you know? So it's a pretty big feeling, man. I don't know if it's the pride in me or what, but yeah, I can't I hate losing.
Um, no, that's interesting because from like a fan's perspective, you see you guys get the belt put on your shoulder or around your waist, and you can literally see and actually, man, depending on the match, sometimes you can kind of feel through the TV screen the emotions of a win and all that and all the hard work. And then a lot of times, they may not even interview the guy that lost. He just kind of trottles off, so you don't really see the other side of things. So that's I'm glad you shared that, man. That's cool. Um, what do you think about NOLA, the whole weekend that was it, did you have any time to enjoy yourself? I know you had to do some work walking up and down Bourbon Street, things like that, but Vegas, NOLA, do you care? What were the things you enjoyed at NOLA?
Vegas is definitely my spot. Always will be. I love Vegas, but dude, I actually enjoyed NOLA a lot more than I was expecting. You know, like I'm not a
Yes.
seafood fan, so I was like when I was going up there, I'm like, shit, what am I gonna eat up here? You know, like I didn't know
Dude,
they got
for
seafood,
real.
but I actually enjoyed like a lot of the other food. I enjoyed their chicken. I enjoyed like the red beans and rice and their jambalaya and all that stuff. I made sure to try a lot of it. Actually really had a good time there. I was saying like I would like to have been there not competing. That way I could enjoy myself a little more because I was just so locked in up until the match. I didn't really do much, but then after my match, I still kind of just chilled out Friday night, but shout out powerslap. They hooked me up with some pretty nice tickets to the UFC event on Saturday. And
Oh,
I
hell
had
yeah.
yeah, I really enjoyed myself Saturday. Like I had a good day. We went to the UFC fights. I had a blast there. We went out on Bourbon Street that night, got to celebrate the win a little bit. And Sunday came around and actually I had a few friends who drove out there. It was like over a 20-hour drive from where we live. Had some friends who drove out there to go watch me, and I actually skipped out on my flight to drive back with them.
Oh, dude,
And
that's awesome.
yeah, everyone's like, "You're crazy. Why'd you do that? You could have been home, a day ago." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's experience. Me and my friends, we like to hoop a lot. We play basketball a lot. So we looked up on TikTok. We found a pretty like popular park there in New Orleans where a lot of people go play basketball. And we went and played basketball with a lot of locals, and a lot of them recognized me. They're like, "Oh, hey, you that dude we saw on TikTok with the slaps." Yeah, so it was pretty cool. We played some ball with, a lot of the locals. We got to eat a few more spots, and then, just me and a few friends. It was a pretty long road trip, but it's fun. We always have a blast. We've done it a few times in Vegas. They'll drive up, and I'll skip my flight just to go chill with them and have some fun. So it was a good time.
Dude, I think that's a better way to do it, actually. You got to play some ball. Got to drive with your
Yeah.
boys, have a little road trip. And you talked about the match the whole way home, I'm sure. Like, yeah, I got him, and stuff like that, man.
Uh-huh. Yeah, we gotta just,
Dude,
gotta relive it a lot, because like when you're up there, there's so much emotions going around. It's kind of really hard to enjoy the moment. So like when you get to go talk about it and relive that moment and not feel the same pressure, then that's when you get to like really fulfill those those emotions that you had. You're like, all right, that was cool, like that was a good time. Like I had a blast up there, because
Yeah,
there's a
that
lot of times, and I've done this with my fights and everything, and it's once I sign up, I'll be sitting there leading up to my fight. I'm like, fuck, why did I sign up for this shit again? Why did I do this again? It's because there's so much pressure, you know what I mean? But then once you win and you get that feeling, you get to live, like I said, you get to feel that week of just that feeling of knowing what you accomplished, how hard you worked. Then you're like, all right, that's why I do this shit. This is what I do it for.
yeah. There's always that moment of like, that's funny, man. It's so, I mean, it sounds silly, but like it really is validating to hear the human side of everyone's story, like leading up to a match. Like, again, somebody might look at you, champ in the sport, all this stuff. They would never think that you would have this thought of, oh man, why did I sign up for this shit? You know what I mean? And then when you get the result you're looking for, yeah, that just validates everything. I love that answer, man.
Yeah, man, and it's true. Like everyone, I tell everyone it's funny as well because even a couple of my coaches, they're like, "Oh, bro, like you're crazy," and I said, "I know." I said it's a crazy thing, bro. But like, dude, when you're up there, bro, like it's crazy because this is like the ultimate. Like fighting's like more like chess, but this is just like the ultimate head-to-head battle. Fighting's like, all right, like maybe this guy beat this guy and he beat me, but I could beat the guy who beat him, because it's all matchups. And this, it's just like, all right, can you hit me harder than that guy hit me? I'm gonna hit you as hard as I hit him, So it's the ultimate just head-to-head battle, and it's, dude, leading up until like I tell everyone I get a lot more nervous for my slap matches than I do any of my fights, and it's because if I'm nervous about something coming up for my fight, I tell my coaches, I'm like, all right, we gotta work on this, we gotta work on that. And with slap, I work everything in my power to know I'm gonna be able to take the hit, but ultimately it comes down to if you can. I'm like, I don't care how much you work on, how tough you are, but if you don't got a chin, then like it's the whole game changer right there. So it's a lot
It's
for sure.
no, dude, it's crazy because I'm sure you've seen some of the clips, man, but they interview like Patty or Alex or whoever, right? Talking about would you do slap, and they always smile and laugh and go, "Hell no!"
Yeah. They
Hey,
did
it
one
just
with Michael Johnson, and they asked him if he'd go against me, and it
I
was
didn't
pretty
see
cool because
that.
yeah, he's like, nah, he's like, hell no, I wouldn't go against him. He's all, but if he wants to come to our world, he's all, I'd gladly
Oh,
welcome him.
sure.
So I was like, all right, I said that's pretty cool, because it's getting me, a little recognition with some of the UFC fighters, because that is ultimately what I want. So I thought that was
Yeah,
pretty cool.
dude, that would be the coolest. Like, dude, that's got to go down. You got to go fight somebody in the UFC, and then if you win, they got to come get you in power slap. That'd be amazing,
Yeah,
dude.
so we got to do both. We got to line both up.
We got to Frank, if you're watching, we got to get a double contract going with Dana, man. That'd be amazing, man. Um,
Sign it up.
no, dude, I sign it up, man. I would watch. I would watch. Um, dude, I just want to say thanks for coming on, man. I know we tried a few different times, but to watch, we came into the sport a little bit later, so Power Slap 8. But I know you've been in it you're such an OG of the sport. You had so much patience, bro, to be offered the belt that you were promised, and then to go out and get it, and then to go out and repeat it again. It shows that you're here to stay. It's not a fluke. And dude, you're the champ, my guy. You're the champ.
Yes, sir. And like I said, I don't feel like they're ever gonna find anyone for me in my weight class, and I know there's a lot of guys who chirp at the bottom, but I honestly don't even think a lot of them could get through McGregor. So that's like one of the hard things I'm feeling, But I mean, if they don't want me to move up, I'll just keep taking this easy money at 155. You know what I mean?
Dude, I love it. Easy money all day. And we might have another round of easy money in October. Have you heard anything that you might be on one of those next two cards, or is this way too soon to tell?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything from anyone. Like I don't even know if anyone's got calls yet, So I'm hoping they start, making them out pretty quick. I would probably I'd probably rather compete in Vegas and than Abu Dhabi. I would like to go out there and coach in Abu Dhabi, but I'd rather just compete in Vegas. Be where I'm comfortable, you know, not having to adjust to a different time and different food and all that stuff, you know. So I'd much rather go out there and coach, but I'd like to compete in Vegas again. So we'll see what they have lined up for me though.
Okay. Well, yeah, man, we'll be out in Vegas for sure. We're trying to get to Abu Dhabi, but yeah, I hope you're on that card as well, man, and we can do this again, baby, and see it all
Yes,
shakes
sir.
out.
Yes, sir. We'll get it done for
All
sure.
right, man. We'll get it done. Robert, man, thank you so much for coming on. It means a lot, and we'll let you get back to your day. But where can everyone find you on social media and they can follow all this?
You can find me on Instagram, real deal underscore Trujillo, and just Robert Trujillo on Facebook. You know, go give me a follow. You know, this sport's blowing up, and you know some of us top athletes are blowing up with it, and making a lot of connections. You know, and I appreciate all the support from everyone. So I definitely appreciate you having me on, and you know we're gonna keep growing.
All right, man. I love it. Okay, dude. Let's let this bitch upload, and then we'll just hang out for a sec.